In just 24 hours, Mojtaba has reportedly unleashed a wave of destruction, inflicting serious damage on not one, but two of the United States' most formidable warships. First, a sudden fire erupts aboard the USS Ford, the crown jewel of America's carrier fleet, and before the smoke settles, precision missiles tear into the USS Lincoln. Only hours after Mojtaba's defiant warning spreads across the world, two of the U.S. Navy's most celebrated prize fighters are left possibly crippled. And now, Trump's war bill is set to skyrocket. After already torching through a staggering $11 billion in just 1 week, the administration faces mounting pressure over a conflict spiraling out of control. On March 13th, Iran officially claimed responsibility for inflicting damage on the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Lincoln, a bold announcement that instantly heightened tension across the Gulf and drew global media attention. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps asserted that the USS Lincoln suffered severe structural damage after being struck by a combination of missiles and drones launched during the confrontation. However, the IRGC statement provided no details about the scale of destruction or possible casualties on board, leaving analysts to question the accuracy and intent behind Tehran's dramatic declaration. Reports of the IRGC's claim regarding the USS Lincoln were first carried by Al Jazeera News, which highlighted the statement as a significant escalation in the ongoing standoff between Iran and the United States. Yet, U.S. military and intelligence sources presented a distinctly different version of events, describing the Lincoln's operations near Iranian waters as routine and largely unaffected by any hostile strike. According to CBS News, the U.S. carrier had, in fact, opened fire on an approaching Iranian vessel that came dangerously close, a defensive reaction, not evidence of successful Iranian aggression. The same CBS News report cited two unnamed U.S. officials who, speaking anonymously on March 12, confirmed that the Lincoln was conducting standard operations in international waters near Iran when the encounter occurred. The United States reportedly deployed its advanced 5-inch, 54-caliber Mark 45 naval gun, a fully automated deck cannon designed for long-range precision fire and used on some of the Navy's most sophisticated warships. According to U.S. defense officials, the Mark 45 cannon engaged the approaching Iranian vessel but missed its target several times, underscoring the tense, fast-moving nature of the confrontation at sea. Moments later, American forces dispatched a helicopter equipped with AGM-114 Hellfire missiles, which successfully locked onto and struck the Iranian craft in a rapid, decisive escalation. Reports indicated that the condition of the Iranian vessel and the fate of its crew members remained uncertain, as no official confirmation or imagery was released immediately following the strike. The USS Abraham Lincoln, central to this encounter, is a nuclear-powered Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, one of the largest and most formidable assets in the United States Navy's global fleet. With a decades-long record of high-stakes deployments, the USS Lincoln has repeatedly served in Middle Eastern waters, projecting American power and safeguarding U.S. interests across volatile regions. On March 12, U.S. naval forces confirmed that a fire had broken out aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, one of America's most powerful aircraft carriers, sparking immediate emergency response procedures on board. Preliminary reports stated that the blaze began in the carrier's main laundry section and was attributed to a non-combat-related incident, ruling out any link to external attacks or hostile activity. Navy officials emphasized that the ship's propulsion and reactor systems sustained no damage whatsoever, assuring that the massive warship remains fully functional and continues its mission at sea. The incident left 2 sailors injured, both of whom were promptly evacuated for medical attention, according to official briefings and on-board reports shared after the situation was brought under control. The USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group is currently deployed in the Red Sea, operating in high-alert conditions as the ongoing Iran conflict intensifies across regional maritime zones. The USS Ford stands as the U.S. Navy's largest and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier, representing the pinnacle of American naval power and a central pillar of its modern deterrence strategy. America's ongoing conflict with Iran has already proven extraordinarily costly, with reports suggesting that the U.S. war bill has soared past $11 billion in just 6 days of sustained operations. According to an analysis published by the Jerusalem Post, that staggering number does not even account for the full spectrum of wartime expenses, including logistics, reconstruction, and long-term troop deployments. On March 11, President Donald Trump declared that the United States had effectively won the war against Iran, but insisted that American forces would not withdraw too early, signaling an extended military presence.
And as we take decisive action to stop the threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury. Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. So we have in this company 2,600 employees. And my administration, as you know better than anybody, is also working to keep the oil flowing. It's flowing all over. We knocked out, you know, they want to drop some mines. Very friendly people, mines, so boats blow up. And we knocked out as of, you know, every hour I have to change because they knock them out so fast. I've never seen anything. Think of it. They knocked out 54 ships in 2 days, and they're real ships. In fact, I got angry at my people. I said, are they any good? Yeah, they're warships. I said, why the hell did we kill them? Why didn't we just capture them and use them in our Navy? They said they wouldn't have qualified for that. I'll tell you, and it looked like we weren't going to come back. Now we have the hottest country. But we knocked out 58 naval ships. We knocked out their Navy, okay? Let's put it that way. But they also knocked out the mine layers. They call them mine layers. They put mines in the water. Lovely job. Isn't that nice? Blow up ships. And we knocked out 31 of them. And thanks to the record-setting tax cuts that we passed in the great, big, beautiful bill, biggest tax cuts in the history of our country, tax cuts, they'll all be gone. By the time I'm finished speaking, they'll be gone. These people work very fast. But I'm pleased to report that earlier today, the International Energy Agency agreed to coordinate the release of a record 400 million barrels of oil from various national petroleum reserves around the world, which will substantially reduce the oil prices as we end this threat to America and this threat to the world. We don't want to leave early, do we? We got to finish the job, right? Over the past 11 days, our military has virtually destroyed Iran. Tough country. Their Air Force is gone, totally gone. That took the better part of about 3 hours. They no longer have radar. They don't have anti-aircraft equipment. They don't have anything. Their missiles are down 90%. Their drones are down 85%. We're blowing up the factories where they're made left and right. New investment into the United States. So think of this. And then after midnight hammer, and then we left, we figured that'll be the end of them for a while. But they started again. That's why we got to finish it, right? We don't want to go back every 2 years and in 11 months, because they haven't calculated the 12th month. But oil prices are already coming back down, and it's going to come down. But we're not leaving until that job is finished, and it's going to be very fast. It's going to be very fast. But we're not going to count on having competent presidents. We have to assume we're going to have incompetent ones, like the one we had last time that couldn't walk off a stage. Remember? I said, nothing's wrong with it. But I don't want the President of the United States.
The United States is reportedly grappling with an acute shortage of air defense missiles across its bases in the Middle East, a problem that's raising alarms within defense circles as Iran's aerial attacks intensify. This concerning development was detailed in a press TV report published on March 11th, which cited multiple regional sources describing deep logistical setbacks inside the U.S. military supply chain. According to these reports, existing American defense systems have struggled to intercept the continuous barrage of Iranian missiles and drones, exposing vulnerabilities in U.S. protection networks. In response, U.S. troops and logistics units are rushing to airlift replacement weapons and interceptors from other global theaters, including Europe and the Indo-Pacific, to reinforce Middle Eastern positions. U.S. President Donald Trump has reportedly reached out to European and Southeast Asian allies, seeking urgent assistance and material support to sustain the expanding war effort. Yet, those appeals have largely fallen flat, with U.S. partners showing hesitation and strategic restraint, leaving Washington increasingly isolated in a confrontation that's growing costlier by the day.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.